Hello, Maverick traders. Welcome out to your currency recap. It's August 11th. Corey here with you. We're going to take you through meaningful news. We're going to talk about some changes to 401k policies. We'll talk about what's moving, what's hot, what's not, and highlight some trade ideas.
All trades and analysis in this video are intended for professional traders only. This content does not constitute financial advice and is for educational purposes. This video is being released after a short delay due to Compliance Department review. Maverick members receive this content immediately as part of their daily trading resources. If you're ready to level up, consider joining Maverick Currencies. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits. You bring the skill, we provide the backing. Let's get into today's market recap and see how the pros are trading the currency markets.
So markets came back from the weekend and were a little bit choppy. I mean, we started off on the right foot, but then we started to sell off. Some news that came out, crypto is now going to be allowed inside of 401k accounts. One would anticipate that that should be very bullish, that Bitcoin and some of these crypto would have a huge update on that news. Not really the case. So good news, bad price action. We'll talk about that more in a second. Trump says that gold will not be tariffed. This was being debated, and gold not being tariffed, you'd think gold would shoot sharply higher. That's good news, right? Well, actually, gold sold off hard. Good news for gold, but bad price action. And finally, China tariff deadline extended by another 90 days. Good news for the markets, yet the markets sold off. So I feel like a lot of markets that would have, could have, should have gone higher today actually traded very poorly on what should have been good news for them. On the price action front, there wasn't a lot of volatility in the market, clearly just a choppy day. Swiss franc was the outlier, down 1/3%. Not a huge move, but it was the biggest move out of currencies. As we look at the markets, again, pretty choppy and sideways, but gold down 2.62% on the news that it will not be tariffed. That should have been better for gold, right? More opportunity to buy without tariff slapped on it, and yet it traded poorly. So Bitcoin Cash up 2.4, Litecoin down 1.91. I'm going to talk more about the crypto markets. The ability to buy crypto in a 401k is a major policy shift, and we're talking about people having, I mean, the amount of money in 401k accounts is billions and billions of dollars. So Bitcoin Cash, I mean, you'd think that this should have been a nice upward trajectory, and yet maybe it was already priced in. So as we look at the S&P 500, we had a gap down previously last week. We came up and filled in that gap, and then the question is, well, where do we go from there? In this case, we filled the gap and we extended above it. So the gap was filled and continued on. And we said this becomes an inflection point. You can either fill the gap and reverse down, or you can fill the gap and keep going. In this case, we had the bullish outcome. Today's price action, a little bit choppy, a little bit more negative. We were down 0.25%. Nothing major, kind of stalled out up there near the highs. I wouldn't make too much out of equities price action here, at least not yet. So as we look at the economic calendar, the RBA meeting out tonight, they're anticipated to cut by 25 basis points. If we look at CPI now, there is a little bit of a debate. Can we trust the government data, right? We saw huge revisions and things out of the jobs numbers. So can we trust this CPI? The CPI is expected to tick up to 0.3, the annualized CPI from 2.7 to 2.8. That would not be the direction the Fed would like to see in terms of feeling confident and cutting rates and so forth. So inflation ticking up even as the employment picture has been getting worse. We get some employment data out of Australia on Wednesday. We get PPI out of the US, and then some retail sales on Friday. But if you were looking at major meetings, certainly the RBA tonight and the CPI tomorrow morning are the headliners. Now, if we look at velocity, here's the way we stack it up. On the stronger side, you've got the British pound. This is what you would most likely want to be buying here. It has relative strength. On the short side, we'd be focused more on the Swiss franc. Let's look at those charts and make sense of it together. Now, there's a couple other charts that could be on the cusp of something, but those are the ones that stand out. So we'll start with the British pound. This trade's been intact since the breakout. You can see the break above this resistance zone. On that break, it had all the characteristics you like to see. It had acceleration, big expanded range candle, velocity, a buy on all factors. But here's the thing, it's still bullish. It's still running higher. It's still upward sloping. It's still on a buy signal. It's still upward trending. We have all the characteristics of further upside. So British pound is definitely the most bullish of currencies right now. What are we going to pair it against? Well, we know that the Swiss franc was the weakest performer, and wouldn't you know it, it has also been breaking down. We had a low base pattern here where it was basing sideways after having fallen, choppy, 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 and then further breakdown. Notice the sell signal, the downward slopes, the downward trends, all of the characteristics you want to see. So the trade, and I put these two together to just show pound against the Swiss franc. This is GBP CHF. You would buy this pairing. It has been intact since we broke out above resistance back here. And from that breakout point, it has been just zooming to the upside. So here's your breakout. No reason to overthink this. This is just a trade that we're going to continue to look to trade to the upside for shorter term momentum. Now, crypto. The conspiracy theorist believes, and again, there's all sorts of conspiracy theorists, but this probably isn't too big of a stretch, that information, even within the government, gets leaked before the actual announcements occur. In the Trump administration, whether you love them or hate them, there has been activity in a variety of markets before some major announcements. And Bitcoin and crypto was no different. The announcement that these things will be allowed in a 401k, you had a lot of aggressive buying leading up to some of these events. And then as the actual announcement takes place, we had what we would consider to be an exhaustive type of pattern. An exhaustion is basically, it's the old adage, buy the rumor, sell the news. Everyone that bought ahead of time, these are probably people privy to information that you and I are not privy to, are enriching themselves. In essence, it's, if you are doing this within a company, that's called insider trading and it's very illegal. But in the government, that's they don't have insider trading restrictions. They can literally trade off of non-public information. You and I cannot. We are the paupers and they are the princes, and that's just the reality of it. And so there is no such thing as insider trading within government, and they will, in many cases, both Republican and Democrat, take advantage of that and enrich themselves. So we have to understand that they were probably doing a lot of buying, and now as that news announcements hit, they're going to take profits on it. The unsuspecting public might be the ones buying on the news, and who's selling to them? Well, it's all these people that have already had the information ahead of time and so forth. My take is, if Bitcoin can't really trade up on that news, there's probably more selling pressure to come. I worry that the public is piling in here right at a vulnerable spot. And my expectation, frankly, would be that crypto, that Bitcoin here at 118,000 per Bitcoin, is probably heading down sub 110,000. I think there's a very good size drop coming in the very near future. So I would look at that as an exhaustive pattern. We've got British pound, Swiss franc on the long side. Hope you enjoyed the currency recap. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time.